Last week, we set off to build our very own mini rat rod using a couple of old wheelbarrows from Facebook Marketplace, a 670 from Harbor Freight, and a whole bunch of parts from our friends over at Go Power Sports. And we ended up with this thing, a single-seater, rear-engine, vintage machine that kind of resembles a frog. Now this little car is probably going to be one of the funnest machines to drive at Bump, but before we get to drive it, we've got to figure out how to get the power from our engine to our wheels, controls, a gas tank, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to work on is getting the power from our engine to the rear wheels. And to do that, I'm going to be using this clutch setup from our friends over at Go Power Sports. This thing is specifically designed to hold the power of the 670, and it weighs about 25 pounds, so adding it to the back of this cart is gonna make wheelies even easier. We've got our clutch installed and we ran into a bit of an issue. If you take a chain, the chain starts here, and you take it and try to run it to our axle, we're gonna hit this shaft coming off the motor, and that's not gonna be good because you don't want your chain rubbing on that. It will cut through it and will make a ton of noise and decrease your power. So what we have to do is take our axle and put it under our frame, which is actually gonna benefit us a little bit because it's gonna give us a much higher wheelie angle, and that's what we're going for. All right, we've got our bearing carriers welded on the bottom of the frame now. I also took the chance to move them about 5 inches back because this thing is definitely gonna do a wheelie, but I think the way we had it set up before, it would have done a wheelie all the time, which would have made it impossible to steer. So now let's set up our axle, get it installed, and see if this fixed our problem. It clears. It barely clears, but it clears.
Nice.
Changing the axle's location fixed all of our problems, and now we're able to fit a 68 tooth sprocket. Look at this thing. Huge. That's gonna give us all of the torque. All right. We've got the chain on, and now I'm very curious to see if we changed the wheelie angle at all, because we've lifted all this stuff up a lot. So it should be way more dramatic. Oh, oh my!
Oh.
Do you think you'd survive coming down from this fall?
I don't know, dude. No suspension in the front. That's pretty hard.
That's a back cracker. We might want to put something on the bottom to keep you at more of an angle like this, but that's nice. We're getting really close. We've got to figure out a fuel tank, battery setup, controls, a couple other things, but by the end of this week, we should be ripping. We're gonna take a break from the video to talk about today's sponsor, Goldbelly. Goldbelly is an awesome site where you can get some of the most delicious and famous foods from all across the US shipped directly to your door, and they ship anywhere in the country. I'm a huge pizza guy, so when I saw this iconic Chicago deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's, I knew I had to get it. And when it shipped to my door, it was well packaged and came with an ice pack, so I know it's gonna be as fresh as when it left. Dude, this is good. I'm a pizza guy myself, and this pizza was delicious. But if you're not into pizza, Goldbelly has you covered with a ton of delicious and unique options to satisfy anyone's craving. Goldbelly would make a perfect gift this holiday season, and for people like myself, it's almost a necessity because it takes all the stress out of cooking and you're left with a fantastic meal. So head over to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with code BUMP. Now let's get back to the video. Now since I'm designing this thing to do wheelies, I don't really want to put the gas tank up here, even though we've got a pretty optimal spot for it in between the frame rails, because if you're doing wheelies with the gas tank up front, you're gonna spill gas all over you. So instead, I found a location in the back that's gonna give us a little bit better weight distribution for throwing it back. Don't mind this axle, it's not bolted in, so it looks pretty funny right now, but I swear it's not gonna look like that. Let's figure out if this gas tank's gonna fit. That barely fits, and I mean barely. If this axle bends at all, we're gonna be in trouble. But it does fit, and this is a pretty good location for it, so I'm gonna clean it up and tack it on. Gas tank is in, and if I didn't burn any holes in it, it's definitely gonna work very well. Now we have to figure out how to get the lines to the engine, and then if everything's done right, we'll have fuel going to the 670. At this point in the video, you're probably writing a comment saying, Will, you want the tank to be above the engine because gravity will float the fuel down to the carbs. And I agree with you, but we just don't have the space, and this is where our tank's gotta be. But the 670 does have a fuel pump, so that will take care of some of our problem. It's not big enough to constantly supply fuel to the engine though, so I had to come up with an idea. They've got these things called primer bulbs. You use them on boats for like outboard motors and stuff, and I'm just gonna take one of these and install it in line from the top of the engine down to the gas tank, and all you've got to do, squeeze it, it creates suction, we'll pump fuel from down there up here, and then the secondary fuel pump will take care of the rest, and this way we won't run out of fuel even if we're doing something like a wheelie. All right, we've got oil. I'm adding the gas. It's time to see if we're gonna have any leaks in this gas tank because I feel like I went a little rough when welding it in, but hopefully I didn't burn a hole in it. Is there any leaks, Taylor?
Dude, I think we're good. I don't see any.
I'm not gonna fill it up all the way because if we do have a leak, I don't have to drain it out and weld it again.
Yeah.
All right, I'm really excited to see if this primer bulb's gonna work. I think it's gonna be a game changer. Oh, you can already see the fuel coming up.
Oh, perfect. Dude, now you don't have to suck it up with your mouth.
I'm done doing that. This is a great hack. That's gonna work out great. The way that we mounted this battery is just with 15-pound like Velcro. And it's like really on there. So I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. Super simple way of mounting it, but I think that's gonna work out great. We have everything. We have oil, gas, battery. This should just start right up.
I think so.
I'm kind of nervous. Ready? Oh! Wow. It's so quiet. Dude! That is powerful. That was like a smidgen of throttle.
Just went.
This thing is gonna absolutely rip, but we gotta take care of the exhaust because right now it is pointed in the wrong direction. These engines aren't really made for go-karts, they're made for like machinery. That's why it rotates in the right direction, but the exhaust is pointing in the wrong direction. So I'm gonna cut it off, flip it around, and weld it back on. And then we just gotta work on our controls and see if this thing actually does a wheelie. I think it's going to. Now I want to keep this stock exhaust because it's really nice and quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pipes at the muffler and then just flip it around and re-weld it, and then we'll be pointing in the right direction. We got our exhaust flipped around and it's looking really nice, super strong. But before we button this thing up, I want to address a problem that I've been thinking of this whole time. We're making this thing to do wheelies, and I don't know if this is going to come up on camera, but it flexes. You can see it really well in person. Let's see. See that?
You can see it a little bit, yeah.
The wheelbarrow is flexing, which means the frame is flexing, and if you come down really hard from a wheelie, that's not going to be any good. The frame is just going to bend in on itself. So I want to take 2 bars, put them on the bottom, and make this thing a little bit more robust so that hopefully it doesn't fold in half like a banana.
Oh, watch out for the lights.
Now we just gotta do that one more time. All right, let's see if these bars made it any more stiff. I think they did, and they look really cool. Check this out. It like added just a little bit more. Before I was looking a bit log style. Now it looks like a real vehicle.
Nice, yeah.
Still got a little flex, but that really fixed it.
That looks way better in the front too.
And it feels a lot better. Like I bet I could just drop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna do. I like that. Now we've got to move on to the rear brake because when you're in a wheelie, I have no doubt that this is gonna do a wheelie, but I want to be able to come down from the wheelie, so we need a rear brake. Let's do that now. For the rear brake setup, I don't want you to have to search for the brakes or have any weird situation at all because you're gonna need them all the time. So what I'm gonna do is take this old R6 brake lever, mount it here on the steering wheel, and then I'm gonna take this heavy duty brake kit from Go Power Sports. It's nice and pretty gold and it's got some really simple mounts, and I'll just mount it on the back, run the line up to the front, and then you'll have a brake that's super accessible, super easy to use, and it should work very well. The rear brake's finished up and it works so well. Check this out. I'm gonna put all my might into this and it's not moving at all, which is exactly what you want. You want that kind of confidence coming down from a wheelie. It would suck to lose your rear brakes on this thing because you've got no suspension. The last things we gotta work on is a throttle. So we've gotta figure out how to get a throttle from the 670 up to the front. And then I wanna add some kind of skateboard wheels to the back just so that we don't destroy our clutch. Okay, so after thinking about the throttle for a little bit, I scrounged up this 4-wheeler throttle, and what I've done is I've gone over here and I don't even know if you guys can see that. I've connected the lines to the line that goes up to the throttle on the 670. And since these motors aren't designed to be on a go-kart, their throttles kind of stick. So I just loosened up the bolt so that it slides freely, added a spring. And now, if you check this out, we've got the 4-wheeler throttle right here, and it moves the throttle on the 670 all the way to full throttle and all the way back to stop. So the plan is to just take the housing apart on the 4-wheeler throttle and then basically do exactly what I did with the brake and bolt it on this side. Okay guys, the frog cart is super dialed in now. I'm really loving this 4-wheeler throttle. It's extremely responsive. We've just got 2 bolts right in the back and it's very solid. I also added some skateboard wheels on the back while I was at it. And I'm hoping that that keeps you from flipping upside down, because you would not want to flip upside down in the frog cart. It would be no good. Might be the end of you. So it's very late right now, but in the morning we'll load this thing in the truck, bring it to the runway, and see what it can do. All right, we got our mini rat rod at the runway, and it's time to see what this thing can do. I spent all last night getting this super dialed in, so no bolts should fall off, and I think it's absolutely gonna rip. Do you think it's gonna do a wheelie?
I don't know, man. We've never really had a four-wheel vehicle do a wheelie.
And it's got the 670, which is supposed to have, what, 30 foot-pounds of torque or something?
Yeah, something like that.
It's gonna be absolutely wild. Before we find out if the frog cart can do a wheelie, you already know what we gotta do. We gotta see what its top speed is. I'm not thinking it's gonna be too fast because we've got a 68 tooth sprocket on here and it's meant for wheelies and torque, but we've still gotta do it anyway. We haven't even really fired this up or seen what it can do at all. We've got the GPS app right here. That's how we're gonna be finding out what our top speed is. Helmet for safety.
How do you turn this thing on?
So it's kind of weird. You gotta kind of finagle yourself through these wires and hoses and jam your legs down in there. Make sure you're nice and tucked in, just in case you do a massive wheelie.
It is a bucket seat, right? I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like a bucket seat. And then we've got all the controls right here. So choke, starter, and it should just start.
Nice.
Like a charm.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna start the recording on the GPS. Let's do this thing.
All right, man.
Holy cow. Honestly, I feel like we both underestimated the power of the 670 because he is flying.
Holy cow!
Dude, that looked insanely fast.
That felt insanely fast. Let's see what the GPS said. It's crazy feeling.
Is it steerable with all that weight in the back, or?
The faster you go, the better it is.
Okay.
We went 44.7 miles an hour, which honestly, for the gear ratio on this thing, 68 teeth is insane.
That's a huge sprocket, yeah.
If we geared it down a little bit, I feel like we could hit 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, if we put a normal size sprocket on there.
It feels incredibly fast. I don't know if it's because you're in a makeshift wheelbarrow car or if it's because you're a little higher than all of our other machines, but you really feel locked in. That steering wheel is nice. The throttle is perfect, and the rear brakes work better than any brakes we've ever had. I also like that the 670 just starts up. It has no running problems.
Dude, the electric start has gotta be so nice.
The electric start is amazing. This is also, strangely enough, this is the first V-twin Bum has ever worked with.
True.
And the acceleration is insanely smooth. The torque is insane. And it's just an amazing machine.
It's not obnoxiously loud either.
And the bucket seat of the wheelbarrow, comfortable. All right, now that we know how fast this thing can go, it's time to see if it can do wheelies, because that's exactly what we built it for. And I think it's definitely gonna do them. Turns out when you put all the weight in the back of a machine, it doesn't have a great turning radius, and then you have a welded rear diff or just a solid axle, it doesn't like to turn at all. It will turn in a straight line, but doing stuff like this, the frog cart takes a massive L. It all comes down to this. We built the mini rat rod specifically to do wheelies, and I think it is gonna do wheelies 100%. So I'm just gonna take it super slow, super conservative. I don't wanna flip over upside down in the frog car. That could be pretty bad. It's got 30 plus foot-pounds of torque and a 68 tooth sprocket. If this thing doesn't do a wheelie, I don't think anything will do a wheelie that we build. So let's give it a shot.
take it easy.
I'm going to. This thing kind of freaks me out.
All right. Yeah, let's see what it's got. Oh, oh. Dude.
Holy God.
What was that? That wasn't easy.
Oh my gosh, I think we gotta take a step back. That was extreme.
That wheelie's so easy.
Is anything broken? That happened instantly.
I don't think anything's broken.
Oh my gosh.
Everything looks good.
My knees.
Yeah, that had to hurt.
We might have wanted to think about suspension on this thing. It went up instantly.
Instantly, from a stop.
When we were doing the speed test, I eased into the throttle. This time, I just kind of smacked it, and it was instantaneous. Thank goodness for these wheels. If we didn't have these, we would have flipped upside down immediately.
And broken everything, probably.
I felt this wheel lift a little bit.
I bet you kind of bounced back, too.
That was crazy. Let's do more wheelies.
Maybe a more controlled.
We'll try to control them a little bit more. I wasn't even thinking about the rear brake, so I'm gonna guard the rear brake this time and try to get a smoother lift off. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna guard the rear brake this time for sure.
That looked a lot better that time, actually. He went for a while.
This is awesome! Oh man, that one hurt. That one really hurt. All right, dude. My knees have had enough.
It looked so painful, dude.
That was like 50 wheelies and I could barely walk. The next revision of a frog cart is definitely going to have suspension. 100%.
Yeah, it needs a soft landing.
And maybe we're gonna have to glue these lights back together. Look at that poor thing.
He's a little cross-eyed now.
He looks a little goofy. I can't believe how well this invention worked.
Yeah, I know. It actually wheelies too good.
It almost wheelies too good. I think a revision on the wheelie bar, lower that angle a tiny bit so that you can just ham the throttle without feeling like you're gonna go back. And then some suspension in the front would really make this thing an incredible little kart. But right now it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Because it just has so much power. I kind of want to gear it down, make those revisions we were talking about, and then I think we can actually send it. But this was a great first drive. We've got to get out of here. A storm's coming. It's going to get crazy out here. So it looks crazy out here. That's it for the mini rat rod build. We had a ton of fun making this project, and we make a video every single week. So if you like this video, you'll love this one. Have a great day.